Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, and on the line is Wootini with another my Gate Gamer video podcasts. Starting with a quick movie review, there wasn't a lot out, so I went to see Plane, which I thought was a terrible title for a movie, but then having seen the movie, it's actually kind of perfect for it because it's just as generic as this movie is. It's unfortunate because, like, I went in expecting, you know, some kind of dumb, stupid action movie, and you do get that eventually. But it's just, it takes a long time to get going, which is weird because it starts with a plane crash, and the plane crash is like, okay, and then they crash on this island, and there's like, you know, oh, what are we gonna do? But, like, they don't spend any time developing any of the characters. I couldn't tell you anybody's names. You know, they barely established Gerard Butler's heroic pilot, you know. There's the cute co-pilot, the nice stewardess, the asshole bald guy, then there's the other bald guy who's not as much of an asshole, there's the two cute girls, and, like, then there's some others. And I'm just like, okay. Like, they don't really matter. So it's not like a disaster movie where they establish characters and you worry that they're going to die. You know, like, they're abducted and it's like, who cares? I don't know who any of these people, you know, it's like I care about the stewardess and the cute co-pilot. That's about it. Everybody else is expendable. But, like, they don't spend time establishing characters. And then it's like, okay, let's go rescue them. And once they get to the rescuing part, that's when everything kicks in and there's lots of action and gunfights and chases, and it's actually very exciting. And I'm like, this is the movie I came here for. It's just a shame I had to wait almost an hour to get to it, you know? So, meh. I definitely wait for that to show up on, you know, HBO Max or Hulu or wherever it's going to end up. I don't remember what studio it was, so I don't know where it's going to end up streaming, but it'll be streaming within a month or two. Guaranteed. As for games, I've been playing some more Ace Attorney. It's funny because the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles for the Switch is actually the two separate Great Ace Attorney games put together in one cartridge for the Switch as one big thing. So I played the first one, and then I stopped, and I took a break, and I played other games. And then I'm like, oh, I should probably go back and play the other half of this, because I've still got another Ace Attorney game, basically an entire Ace Attorney game that I can play and enjoy. So I went back, and I'm kind of glad that I put some space in between them, because the first case is basically like, it's weird because it's like out of time, it's like in the future, and like she's like, oh, back then when we were in England and we did all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. But it also acts like as a tutorial, and then I don't need a tutorial because I've been playing these games for a long time, so it's like, okay, whatever. But it is helpful, like, she's like, oh, back then when we did this, that, and the other thing in England. And then when that case is over, then you actually do go back and you pick up right where you left off after the first game. But there's a little extra exposition, which I think would have been kind of repetitive and annoying if I had gone right into the next case. But by putting all the space in between it, it's okay, because it's a separate game, and it came out after, so they needed to, like, refresh your memory about what happened in the first game. And I'm like, thank you for helping refresh my memory, because I played this last year, so I need that refresher. Also, my memory is garbage, so whatever. But it's still fun and charming, and it's delightful. And also, again, even that first case, which was like an introductory simple case to try to get you back into the swing of things and teach you all how everything works and whatever, even that was kind of annoying, because it's like I knew how it had happened, but I couldn't say it because the game didn't get to that point yet. I knew how this person was murdered, I knew how it happened. It's clearly obvious, but you have to go step by step through the way the game walks you through everything, and you have to wait for the witnesses to say certain things, and then you're like, oh, okay. And then it's like, you know the answer, but you have to figure out what evidence you're supposed to present in order to get them to admit that answer, and it's not always clear. Sometimes it's a little obtuse, and that's frustrating. It's my only complaint about the Ace Attorney games, is that sometimes the logic, like, you know what the truth is, but you can't figure out how to make it happen in the game. And then also, I just wanted to quickly mention Sony. I feel like Sony is ramping up the publicity on the PSVR 2. It's coming out February 22nd, and they've announced like close to 30 games that are going to be coming out with it or within a month of its launch, in the launch window there. And I have to, you know, resist. Because as a huge fan of 3D, VR is like ridiculous. It's like 3 dimensions and it's real and it's around you. Because the thing is that what I like about video games is that you get to go someplace that you'd never really ever get to go and do things that you could never really actually do. You know, you're living the fantasy. And it's why I like first-person perspective games more than third-person perspective games, because they're just more immersive, you know? So VR is like the next level of that. It's a first-person game that is literally reality around you, and you can look everywhere, and it feels almost real, and it's incredible, you know, visually real. So I love that sort of thing. But I will say that of the launch titles, there's only a few that I'm like, okay. I mean, obviously Horizon is the big one. Like, that's the one that I would get the bundle with the Horizon game in it, because of course I'm getting the Horizon game. So, you know, I'd get that. And then there's like, you know, but there's not a whole lot else right now. I know there's that Star Wars one that's coming, but that's not on the list, so that's probably not coming too soon. Weirdly, the one game that I'm like drawn to, there's this kayak game where you use the controllers to like kayak around, and there's different locations and you can kayak around and explore them, and you see the fish and the scenery and everything, and I'm like, that's what I love. It was one of my favorite PSVR titles was Perfect, which you basically just sit there and look at the environments around you. You know, like sit by a campfire in the woods, or sit under a palm tree on a beach and choose night or day. And even the limited movement and actions, like there's really nothing to do. You could throw some rocks into the water or whatever. It's like, like there's not a lot to do, but that's not the point. The point is to just enjoy the environments. So like something like that, but with like free roaming motion would be like amazing. So like you could choose all these different locations. You could go and sit over there. You could sit over there. You could go swimming, whatever. Like just that kind of soothing, relaxing thing is like really great with VR. And I mean, there's the Dark Pictures Anthology has their Switchback VR, which is, you know, the roller coaster shooter thing, which I enjoyed on my PSVR. So I'd probably end up getting that because it's fun. But right now, there's nothing that's like, aside from the Horizon game, there's nothing that I'm like, I need this. Because also, it's like expensive as shit. And I would get the Horizon bundle because I would obviously want to play Horizon first. So I'd be paying like $600. And that's a lot of money to be shelling out right now. And I don't really feel like that's appropriate. So I'm going to have to like work on my willpower and resist. Because also I don't feel like it's going to be like the PS5 where you can't find it anyway, so who cares? I feel like a lot of people still don't have PS5s, and the PSVR 2 is going to be even less demanding because you'd need to have a PS5, so your audience for the PSVR 2 is even lower because some of the people who might want it still don't have a PS5. So I worry that they'll be widely available and easy to purchase, so I will have to definitely work on my willpower and resist. So that's it for this episode. Come back next episode to find out what else I've seen and played, and if I've caved and lost my willpower for anything. It won't be the PSVR. That's not until February. Bye!